All right. We're here.
Yeah,
We're here,
and we
Size
got
10 podcast.
Dude, vaccinations have fully hit. We have our first in-studio guest.
Brent Lowrey.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, guys. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like spacious, but it's still got closet vibes where you're like, oh, I can tell secrets down here.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
But
like
there
how
is
you
a
get
camera,
good-
so you got to be careful about your
Yeah,
secrets.
but you want people to start opening up. It's how you get good content.
I'm ready to get vulnerable.
All right.
Oh, really? Oh, yes. That's what we were looking for.
No, we just want to know how shoes make you feel.
Initially, they make me feel curious that people are so into them. You know, like I'm an outsider. I'm approaching this from I'm not a shoe.
Yeah.
I'm not a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with my sister in preparing it. Yeah, how are my levels?
There you go. Just
Yeah,
a little closer.
You might need to be a little closer to the mic.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
It's like,
so
why is he not picking
subtle.
him up?
No, you're good. You're good. We didn't really check levels.
Yeah,
so.
we did.
Yeah.
It's all right.
And I watched the Jared George episode today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thoughts on it.
I'm such a dick. We should check levels.
Yeah.
Because Nick was very soft.
Who's,
Bjorn was very loud.
Which number is Brent?
Look at me.
he's gonna
fucking
be-
control freak Brentley.
Yeah.
2. There you go.
No, he might be number 1. He's on Bjorn's. What's usually Bjorn's
Yeah,
mic.
he's on my mic, my usual mic.
And you
this
can-
is riveting stuff.
Yeah.
too.
Well, you can use these. You kind of talk into these
So-
just like a stand-up mic. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
You got to be pretty close.
very directional.
Right.
Button?
Right.
What?
Do I have the cell button?
No, you're good.
It's one step backward to take 2 steps forward. So yes,
Exactly.
not great on the content, but
Okay,
That's
yeah,
okay.
it's picking.
I'm
Shoot.
not gonna lie. The sneakers you brought today are what I'm gonna just totally hijack the conversation for a second.
Please
The
do.
sneakers that you brought today were the ones that were like, oh, we gotta have Brent. I saw you in a photo doing stand up at one of your shows, wearing these, and I was like, first of all, what are those? I couldn't figure it out, and I'm pretty good at identifying sneakers. I thought they were 11s, but they're not.
what are they?
I don't know what they are. They're some hybrid thing, right?
Hmm.
Or are they like I'm not super great like once we get above like 13.
And I am not super great at all, but they were the wedding shoes that I wore as a groomsman in my sister's wedding
Sick.
Okay.
in September. And so we were on the beach. My brother-in-law, he had ones like that, and then all of his groomsmen gift were like pairs. And
Oh,
so,
cool. Okay.
I got out there and they bought me a pair. I wish I did know exactly what they were, but that's a good kind of like intro to my perspective on shoes because my sister is a huge sneakerhead.
She is?
Okay.
Oh, huge. So she has a whole room that is padlocked that has 225 pairs of shoes in it. She sent me a picture, so I should have sent it to you guys to throw up. before.
Definitely later send that picture to me.
Okay.
I want to see it.
I asked her today. I was like, because I house sat for her when they went on their honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if somebody broke in and I called you and I was like, I'm at gunpoint. What is the code? What would you say? And she was like, I would be like, what size are they?
Is it a lot of like dead stock pairs or is it do you
She
know?
said she has, because I learned what that word was about an hour ago.
Okay.
Excellent.
So she has about 6 or 7 dead stock Kobe's that she
Ooh.
says are probably going up in value now that the deal with Nike has cut.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And especially because especially like temporarily they might have spiked right now because it's his Hall of Fame induction weekend.
Right.
Which is
right.
why I'm in the Kobe's. And Jordan sucks because Jordan is accepting his induction because he's, passed.
Mhm.
He's
but-
got to.
These are scuffed up pretty good because if I have a good pair of shoes, I want to show people
wear your
that.
shoes.
And I don't take care of a lot of my stuff.
That's okay.
No.
No,
They're
it's
shoes,
really
you're supposed
not.
to wear
It's,
'em.
it's not. I should maintain my things better and show that I have more sense of pride, but I don't respect them. So even those I've only worn a few times, but I get now why like you would, she said she put on a pair today that had the tags on still, and she wanted to see if it would match with her outfit, and it
Yeah.
didn't really match. So she's like, okay, I'll leave the tags on. I won't. Because she still doesn't know. I asked if she views them as an asset or as fashion, and she's like, they're both. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. That's probably how most sneakerheads view them. It's like,
Yeah, like before you wear them, a lot of them are still worth like more than you paid. So
right.
you might as well like not wear them until you need to type of thing.
Right, but then when you're like, oh, this is, thank God I have these to go with this. You're like, I'm gonna wear them, because
Yeah.
these are my
Yeah.
shoes.
Well, and I also I never have that self-control. I'm like, oh boy, new shoes, and I put them on, and
Like
so all my
immediately.
shoes are worn.
No, so you don't have very many dead stuff.
One dead stock pair
Wow.
out of like 25. I don't know how many pairs of shoes I have. Decent number.
She said she has 60 pairs of Yeezys.
She got me
60?
beat. She's got me beat by a very wide
A
margin.
lot. She's got me beat by 60. 'Cause I don't like them.
Yeah, she's got me beat by 54 or so.
She's insane. And I asked her, because she's trying to have a kid. I was like, when you have a kid, are you going to convert that to a nursery? And she's like, no, we're going to take out the guest room.
That's
So she'll
awesome.
have a guest room.
Bro, we got to have your sister on the podcast.
I
feel
know.
like-
She said she could. Yeah.
I feel like the answer I wanted was like, oh no, they'll just sleep in the garage. Like,
She
I'll
said
park
she-
my car outside.
She said they're gonna sleep with the baby. I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. Great. But no, the final note on that would be when I asked her today, have you spent a year's salary on shoes? Do you think? I got to learn first of all how much she makes. She asked. she asked her husband. She's like, babe, do you think I've spent $100,000 on shoes? And I was like, oh. Fuck.
You're like,
Oh shit, we're in different tax
It's like,
brackets.
yeah, that's like 4 years for me. And anyways, and he was like, absolutely.
oh, like she didn't even finish saying it.
Yeah,
Like,
and
he
she was like, I don't think so, because that would mean each pair is like $500 worth. And I was like, but what about all those pairs that you've bought and given away over the years? She's like, oh, that's probably true. Like it's close, which is nuts.
Yeah, I definitely haven't spent that much on shoes.
This
I haven't tallied it up because it's going to be alarming and somewhat depressing if
Right.
I do.
That's like me and marijuana.
Yeah, David,
honestly.
definitely don't go because my profile is logged and don't show how much I've spent on this website that's up right now. I was disappointed in myself. It's not that much, but I still was like, oh man, that is like a month's worth of salary for me.
So Brent, what do you think of this seltzer? We've
Yeah.
talked about this seltzer on here before. It's called Snow Melt. It's got electrolytes.
I really like it. And
You do?
I'm new in the seltzer game. So,
Okay.
It's a Ski Town. I got that when I was back home in Whitefish.
electrolytes, so
Montana.
I should feel like
Yeah, it's
some
like a
form
Gatorade.
of- yeah.
It's like a Gatorade.
It's-
For when you want to
fucking
go on
good
a
for you.
run,
Yeah.
but maybe,
a
hit on somebody.
You don't want
a
to
buzz
take your
run.
run too seriously.
yeah, like a post.
Yeah.
Do you get
nice
electrolytes
relaxed
after or
run.
before? Do you want it?
I think this
That's
is to
actually-
cool down from a run.
Ooh, I could see that. The snow melt. So like you just finished snowboarding down
Yeah.
a mountain.
You
and
just
now you get some
tearing it up.
spiked snow melt.
Yeah.
Craft hard seltzer.
Yeah,
Passion
exactly.
fruit and mango is a good combo.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it, guys.
The flavors were good. There was like that.
There was some of them we thought it had kind of a weird aftertaste. It wasn't our favorite of the seltzers.
What was? your
I'm
favorite?
still kind of a White Claw guy.
Oh.
I still think Claws they're the original, and I still think they're the best.
I'm a cacti guy.
Ugh.
Have you
Yeah,
tried
I
it?
agree.
Travis Scott's.
That's the brand name.
It's called
Cacti?
Cacti, yeah.
And
Okay.
it's like terrible.
It's
but it's like
mediocre
an
at
acquired
best.
taste. And I just for funsies was like drinking it a lot on the podcast, and I decided that I actually like it.
Isn't that how you would probably describe Travis Scott? He's like an acquired taste.
Right? Yeah. The first time you listen to his album, you're like, "What the hell is this?" And then 3-4 times later, maybe a pair of sneakers, and you're like, "You know what? He's got some good ideas. This guy's doing
It was
all
his
right."
it was his McDonald's meal that did it for me.
Yeah, no,
Did
that,
it in
it
a
was a
good way?
pretty good McDonald's meal, I'm not going to lie.
There was a medium or a large Sprite in there, right?
Yeah. It's
I
like a
believe
medium
so.
Sprite. What was it? It was a
It was like a
quarter
pounder
pounder with
barbecue
lettuce
sauce.
and bacon added.
Does
And then
Travis Scott really get a-
Fries and then barbecue sauce to dip the fries in. And that was the whole
Yeah.
Wasn't there nuggets in it too?
No, there were no nuggets
No
No
involved.
nuggets, no nugs. There was fries.
Does he really get a medium Sprite?
No
He's-
ice or
he's-
something like that.
No,
like
it was a
weird,
Sprite
like-
with ice. I don't think the size of the Sprite was actually.
Okay.
I think you could get any size Sprite.
If I was a rapper, I would get extra large everything. You know.
big everything.
It would. It would.
Are you into rap then?
Yeah, and deep in fast food too.
Okay, and
Th-
then
those are
crossovers.
Those are your two passions
What
in life.
would
So
what
that
would be
that
the
was,
Brent Lowrey meal?
The Brent
Yeah,
Your
what-
fast food establishment of choice.
Yeah.
would be so I'm a very picky eater, so it would have just cheese and ketchup on a hamburger.
Okay.
But it would have it would be a double hamburger.
So like
uh,
a McDouble or
Yeah,
what
like a
is that?
McDouble. Okay, the McDonald's meal would be one McDouble,
Mm-hmm.
just cheese and ketchup, 10-piece McNugget, large fry, and a strawberry banana smoothie.
Ooh.
That's a pretty great meal.
I gotta know, Nick. What would yours be?
Ooh, I've said it before. Taco John's.
Okay.
We're going with the regional
Where are they? Midwest?
Midwest. Yeah,
I-
get that crunchy
First
chicken.
job was at a Taco John's.
It's a
I ever had.
crunchy chicken and potato burrito. It's a burrito
Yup.
with fucking chicken nuggets and tater tots in it.
Wow.
It's
It's real good.
So much garbage, and it's the best ever.
So you would get that?
Get that. I'd get the Sierra Mist. I believe they serve Sierra Mist there
Sure.
instead of Sprite.
Sure.
Yep.
No ice. I don't really like ice in my
Okay.
soda. I don't like it watered down.
Right.
And definitely gonna have to get potato olays on the side, because that's
Okay.
what they call their tater tots. Is potato olays.
Olays.
So yeah, Taco John's. Shout out to them.
Is that where you're
TJ's.
from, Nick?
I'm from Montana,
Montana.
and we have TJ's. in
Okay.
Montana.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about as west as they come.
Yeah.
Feel like
Well,
they're-
it's from Texas. It's
Oh, okay.
Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
that's
So you
right.
got, like you can get queso there.
I believe
absolutely.
They're big on that. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
don't really know what it is. I think it's just like a
It's just
soup cheese.
Fake
cheese soup, yeah.
It's cheese soup.
so. 100%.
Since you guys asked, my
Yes.
meal, the Bjorn
That was-
RG would be
How inconsiderate of us.
it would be from Popeyes. It'd be the it'd be 3-piece chicken, a tiny fry, 2 of their super salty biscuits, and then we're just going off the rails now.
Mhm.
And then it would come with Chick-fil-A sauce to dip it in. But it'd be like not racist Chick-fil-A sauce. It'd be like a new rip-off sauce
Mm.
to dip
Are
all
they
those
still-
things in.
Are they still homophobic?
Oh yeah.
Okay, they can be.
They got rid of the racism, but they
just-
kept
No
the
racism.
homophobia.
Homophobia though is still there.
I've been told their sauce. It's like barbecue sauce and mustard.
Yeah.
Did
or
you
whatever
say
that-
one small, like a small fry?
Yeah,
What does
because
that
I don't
mean?
like that much fries. I want some. I want like
Oh, a small order of fries.
I want like the bag,
Not a
like
singular
the baby.
small
You said
fry.
that like
One
one
small
small
fry,
You said
baby.
that. Okay.
Just
They always
the
say
one.
it. Don't they say it singular like that?
They say small fry. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is correct.
But I almost want smaller than a small. Like I want.
You
Like
want
the
what, like
little, like-
8 fries?
Yeah. Like the one that comes in like the Happy
A
Meal.
thimble of fries.
That's not common,
I want
right?
like this much fries. I don't know. I want to be like, hey David, can I have some of your fries? That's how much fries that I like.
Right, and then
and
you
we're
have a
trying
few
to be unique
handfuls,
here.
and then you're good.
What?
You just have a few handfuls.
So if I have more than that, then I feel gross.
So the Bjorn meal is a handful of fries.
You
A handful
also,
of fries.
but you
yeah.
also want
A handful
two
of fries,
biscuits.
but 3 pieces
But
of fried
2
chicken, 2
biscuits.
biscuits, and a bunch of sauce that's mostly sugar.
You could
So you're
make this
like,
into
"Can
a
I also
song
have
around
your
the
biscuit?"
holidays. 3
Yeah,
chicken
can I have-
nuggets
Yeah. Yep.
All right, what's the drink
and
though?
a
You
French
didn't-
fry.
Oh, and then
Some
unsweetened iced tea. I don't
homophobic
think they
sauce.
have that. But I like just a straight up unsweetened iced tea.
Unsweetened iced tea. That's what that's what you offered me. So you have
That
some.
I make it myself. It's just
wow, my gay roommates do that. I wonder if that's a gay thing.
because I'm cheap. It's more of a cheap thing.
Okay.
I've never
A
made
box.
that correlation before. You're right.
Do all
I think
gay
it is a
people
gay
like-
thing. I think it's unsweetened iced tea.
Google it. It's my computer, so who cares about the search history,
do
right?
gay people love unsweetened iced tea?
Is unsweetened iced tea a gay
Come on.
thing?
We got the new stereotype coming out on size 10.
Is unsweetened iced tea gay? That people have searched it before.
Well, look, there's an oral hit. Why is
Oral
iced coffee
history.
so gay? That's a GQ
That's a-
article.
Some-
Why is iced coffee so gay?
I do like iced
Oh,
coffee.
man, they're-
I do like iced coffee, as well.
We sat down with iced
Is this
coffee.
like-
hey, why are you so gay?
This is either like a gay lifestyle blog or it's just like a really hateful.
GQ.
No, GQ is just a men's
It's-
magazine.
It's a men's magazine. It's pretty gay though.
It's not
Oh
off.
man,
It's not
whole
often this
article.
hateful.
We'll let David read the
Yeah, go
article.
ahead and peruse and
and
see.
we'll just keep talking about how that is interesting. I
and
wonder
that
if it
is
is
iced coffee. So we got off it a little bit. but
Yeah, But I wonder.
It's
so
still
you're
an iced beverage that's often served hot.
yeah. So
It's just funny that there's
you're a
other
sweet
people,
tea
yeah.
guy. You're a sweet tea guy.
No, I like
Arnie Palmies, right?
I like an Arnold Palmer made with unsweetened tea because the lemonade has plenty of sugar.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
It's
But
kinda
I'm
where
a
at.
three quarters, iced tea, and then
Mostly tea with a
most-
hit of lemonade
yeah.
in there.
I've been getting some raspberry sweet tea from grocery store lately. I like a good sweet tea. Unsweetened, I'll take it or leave it.
It's
I'm
like a
thirsty.
beer for me, where I'll sip it instead of just like drain it. You know,
Mm.
Right.
that's why I like them.
All right,
and I'm
Brent.
gay,
What
so
takes
that's
a-
another reason, I guess.
That might not be true.
So these shoes, I want to get back to these because I'm curious about them. They look like a Jordan 11, but with a Jordan 13 sole,
Yep.
and whatever these are.
What's that one that has like the phrases across the bottom? Is that
The
The 11
10, I think,
or the
has
10?
the words. But
'Cause
this,
the top
this
looks
is
like the
totally
10
the
to me.
outsole of a 13 because I have
Yeah.
13s and it's the same outsole.
I gotta confirm now.
And this looks like the 11. It says.
And then those little straps, those are on one of those
TW.
like 14 or 15 or something like
yeah,
that.
it says TW03.
So, and then the
David.
heel tab is from the 6.
Yeah,
right?
that's from the 6.
But they're not custom. They're just.
So these are, I've seen these
Jordan-
at the
I think they're
what's
called like the 5 rings or something like that.
Oh, no, that's a different one.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, they might be the 5 rings.
I
They're
just
sick
remember
regardless.
hearing
I
that.
would rock them for sure.
Thank you.
I really like them.
Yeah, I feel like they're ones I wouldn't want to make this scuffed because they have sort of sentimental value at this point.
6 rings. They're
Six
the
rings?
6 rings.
They're the 6 rings.
10
Okay.
rings is a I don't know.
Yeah, 5 rings would have been weird because that would have been either Olympics or they
Yeah.
miscounted how many.
Six.
he
Okay,
had.
6 rings. That's for all the rings that Michael
So-
Jordan
Yeah,
has.
yeah.
That
makes sense.
Oh, clever. These look like to me. It's brilliant that your sister did them for the wedding, because this is a very much a shoe that you could just go to Foot Locker and buy. I feel like,
Mhm.
and you need a shoe like that for like your wedding party. You can't do like a high heat. Everyone's got to go to StockX. and
Yeah,
try
you
to,
can't
like-
get the Concord
like,
11.
Yeah, like you
Because this
can't.
looks a lot like the Concord 11,
Right, and that
but the
would've been-
Concord 11 is going to be $400 a crack.
Do you
at
know
least.
what sneakers we're talking about as we're like rattling off these names? Do you want David to look them up for you?
No, I
Okay.
imagine they're like variations of something similar to this.
Yeah, they have the patent leather and the same upper as those.
You want to throw that over there?
Sure.
The other ones are the ones. The other ones that I brought are the ones that I wear everywhere. I
Mhm.
bought them
Ooh, the Gore-Tex.
a year and a half ago in Portland because it's like, and I didn't even
Forces.
know what Gore-Tex was, but my mom was like, "All right, you're in a rainy city, you should
Yeah.
get Gore-Tex." And they're worn, but they're still in good shape.
Yeah.
They're the gold Air Force Ones,
They're right there.
and they match with everything.
Yeah, those are sick.
I can wear white, I could wear black, I could wear jeans, I could wear shorts. Like, they match with everything. So I wear these on stage most of the time, and I guess I've worn the Jordans.
So they're
For
they've
bigger
they're
shows.
actually
Mhm.
so they retail at 150,
I couldn't
and
find
they
it, yeah.
are going. What size are you?
10 and a half, but these are an 11, and so I saw these I couldn't get these for
Yeah.
less than 210 or something
That's
like
sick,
that.
dude. They're over. They're going for 197.
Yeah, I might have to re-up too, because if they fall apart, I couldn't imagine a better shoe in Portland,
Yeah.
or at least go find something else Gore-Tex.
Yeah, I
But
have a pair
really
of
like these.
I have a pair of like Nike running shoes that have Gore-Tex, and they've been nice. Like I got them in the middle of winter because I like to walk, and sometimes it's rainy,
Right?
and they've been great. Like
Are
keep
they
your feet-
heavier?
No, they're like the Nike Pegasus something or another
s-
Gore-Tex. They're really lightweight,
Nice.
super comfy, but they're much more of a running shoe style, whereas these are Forces.
So is the Gore-Tex like the leather on up top, or is it what the sole is made of?
I
No,
think
what
it's this stuff. It's
what Gore-Tex is, I know this because I worked in like a fly shop, which is like the
I have no
outdoor.
idea.
Gore-Tex is a membrane. It's like a really thin piece of fabric, and it's waterproof but breathable. So it has really, really, really tiny holes in it that are too small for water to get through, but their air is smaller than water, so the air can get out.
So it's this stuff.
So it's going to be a membrane underneath all of that.
Oh.
There's going to be like a lining of this Gore-Tex fabric that just makes the whole. You see the inside here, that like this fabric right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Gore-Tex.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just a membrane that makes them waterproof, but they're still like breathable, like so your feet shouldn't sweat too
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's a brand.
Can we talk about? I also said because
Yeah.
I'm like I don't have that many shoe topics to talk
Mhm.
about. Can we talk about how good of a song Air Force Ones is, or do you do that?
Oh, absolutely. I like the song way more than I like the sneaker.
Is
You're
that
not
Fat Joe?
Not a big fan of the sneaker?
Nelly
That's
and
Nelly.
Paul Wall,
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right? It's
And
been a
yeah.
minute since
Yeah, I
I've.
haven't heard that
Murphy
song in a
Lee
while.
too.
Yeah, it's like one of those southern.
It was like a shoe anthem, and I can't imagine there's a lot of those
There's a few.
sneakerhead anthems.
I mean, because like a lot of rappers
Is that
collect
one-
sneakers.
Yeah, a lot of rappers talk about white on white forces. That's a
Mm.
recurring theme.
How many songs do
rap.
you associate where you're like, oh, that's a shoe song, where like the chorus is about he's talking
Oh,
about
like the whole
shoes?
song? I don't know, but
Well,
the game talks a lot about sneakers. Just like has like little lyrics and here.
Yeah,
and there.
Right.
Kanye mentions them from time to time because he designs them.
Right.
Yeezy,
Some days I'm
Yeezy,
in my
Yeezy.
Yeezy. Some days I'm in my Vans.
I guess
If
every
we
time
all
he
made
says
plans,
Yeezy,
I
he's
wouldn't
kind
have
of
popped
plugging
his Zans.
sneakers.
He had Yeezus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, on that same Life of Pablo, he had the one that started Yeezy, just jumped
Sure.
over Jumpman.
Sure, because he was putting out some pretty big numbers shoe-wise.
It was when he first went over to Adidas from Nike, and then he was just like, "Hey, fuck you, Nike."
Right.
Yeah.
He compared himself to like LeBron because Nike.
Yeah,
I've
he-
been that's a great album, and I've been listening to it lately. But
I was listening to it like 2 days ago.
I don't
That's
remember if
what
I've
was in
been
my head.
listening. To that's
What have you been listening to lately? What's on one of your jams?
Yeezy, that
Okay.
album? No, not the Yeezy album. I like Kanye's album
Life of Pablo.
Life of Pablo is probably one of the last albums by him that I like really jammed with.
Hmm.
For some reason, I think somebody I follow on Instagram has been using the intro to Real Friends in their reels. So I
Okay.
started playing Real Friends, and I was like, oh, this is a good album. And then Ultralight Beam is really good on that, and Fade is good. He's just he's a good producer. Like, if you listen
Mhm.
to Part 2, it's like got all these different songs on it. Like, it's got that.
That's the one where it's Designer Panda. It's like
Yeah.
half the whole song, but it's still like so dope.
Right, and it
Yeah.
goes in all these different directions, and then you look at it, and it's over, and you're like, that was a 2.5-minute song. How did he? how
And
did
then
he
the
do
next
that?
song after that, like half of it is Bam Bam by Sister Nancy,
Okay.
but it totally works.
I don't
The
know Bam
Famous,
Bam. Okay. Yeah.
you know, Famous.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Bam Bam is like, you know, that kind of reggae type of dance hall song.
Mm-hmm.
That's Bam Bam by
Got you.
Sister Nancy, which is an amazing song in its own right.
I started to listen to the J. Cole album.
Ooh, I sent that to Nick. I was like, you gotta listen to this because
I listened to the whole
hyped
thing.
on it.
It was a J. Cole album.
He's really good.
Dude, the flows on it, I'm a whatever. I really liked it.
Mhm.
I listened to it several times yesterday. I love how he's like I'm gonna give my little review.
Yeah.
It's like an updated Bone Thugs. Like it's like a better. I love the harmonizing and the rhymes are just so good.
Yeah.
Like they're just buttery. Every single song is just like I'm just like, oh, like I get so excited about a lot of I'm like, oh, I was so stoked on it.
It's really he's so loose with his flow, like it's never mechanical. He can like
Yeah.
switch up the harmony and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's like really good wordplay and just like there's so many like little things that were like sticking in my brain that I really, really liked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I listened through twice. I liked it. I'm at the same place with J. Cole that I've always been,
Yeah.
which is like he's a great artist. But there really wasn't any single song on that I got like super amped and hyped for. I was like, this is objectively great music, but I don't get hyped for J. Cole
Yeah.
for some
So
reason.
is there a Kanye song in the last 5 years where you're like, that's a classic Kanye song?
In the last 5 years, I really liked All Mine off of the Ye album.
Okay.
And I liked what was that song on the Christian album? The good one.
Okay. I didn't
With the
listen to
dope
that
beat.
one. But you think that that song in itself was better than any one song on the J. Cole album?
I'm not going to say I think it's better. I just would say that it was a song where I was like, I'm going to listen to this 50 times.
Right.
And I'm gonna just be amped up every time. I'm just like, this is the shit.
But you
like,
didn't get a song like that out of the J. Cole
I did
album.
not. There wasn't a song on the J. Cole album that I was immediately like, this fucking song.
You
Here's
do kinda
a
want-
great
slaps.
example for me is the new 2 Chainz album that came out last fall. I listened to the whole thing through. As soon as Gray Area came on, like the first second of that beat, I was like, I'm gonna listen to this so many times, and it's still in my like all the time
your
rotation.
It's true. You do need a good banger to anchor your album so that like you can
Yeah.
revisit them and be like, oh yeah, there's this and this and there's that one was pretty good too. But you got to have that one that brings you back.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
That's-
J. Cole album is like a book that you just like read one time, and you're like, "That's a good book. I'm not gonna revisit it."
I
Or
had
like a
that-
movie. It's like I don't know. Like I'm never gonna watch Tenet again, but I enjoyed it. You know, I'm switching metaphors to movies.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you one more example on the album we were just talking about, Life of Pablo.
Yeah.
No More Parties in LA.
Yeah.
The moment I heard that, I listened to that song so much. Like whatever summer that album came out,
Yeah.
that was like the song I listened to that
Okay.
year.
It was Ultralight Beam for me, but I was also living with people that I didn't want to live with, and then so when that song started to go, we don't want no devils in the house, and I'd be like, yeah, get
I-
those guys out of here.
Yes. Oh boy. What was your
we
thoughts?
want the Lord, and I was like, yeah, we want the Lord. I don't know.
All right, so your thoughts on the J. Cole
I want to hear
record.
your thoughts after we just ran. through it.
I gotta listen to the full thing, but I watched his. He was doing a freestyle on a radio.
Oh, the LA
show.
Leakers freestyle was
Yeah,
amazing.
and so he's so. You could tell he's got a real grip on everything he's saying. Like
Mhm.
and his words are. He's masterful with his rhymes.
Yeah.
And his confidence was high, so you're like, oh, this album could be one of his classics.
Yeah.
I guess you would say. I'm sad Kendrick Lamar hasn't put out an album in a long time.
Me too. Yeah.
I really like Kendrick.
I wonder if that means he's either. I can never tell. Does that mean he maybe not motivated, or he's going through just all the shit that you need to go through to make a good album?
Kendrick is the type that would take like 6 years off to regroup and then come back with an absolute
Right.
monster of an album.
But we all knew Detox at a certain point was never going to come out.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like you're like, Dr. Dre is just going through crazy stuff, and now he's going to put out an album 15 years after he started plugging it. You're like, at a point, you're like, he's just got a big stoner, and he can't finish a project.
I don't think he detoxed at all. Like, I think he doubled down.
Yeah, I mean, he had at a certain point.
I had totally forgotten he was even gonna put out an album
I
called
had
Detox.
as well until you just
Dude,
I
there's a
reminded
remember
whole
me and my buddies in high school were like, dude, when's fucking Detox is gonna come
and
out soon?
That was
He's
early
releasing too many
2000s.
headphones instead.
And
put
then
it
he
in
dropped that
multiple
album called
people's-
like Compton or something, and it was pretty trash, honestly. That album was not good.
There were people who were like, I've heard Detox. I went to Dre's studio. He played it for me. But he's such like a perfectionist, apparently, that he just never released one. That sucks.
Yeah, he's got to be more of a perfectionist the way Kanye is, where he just puts out random shit, but he keeps putting stuff out.
Right, where
Like
he's
weird shock
he just,
drops.
but Kanye believes everything that he does to a degree is perfect.
Releases
And that's my favorite thing about Kanye.
Kanye
to be
releases
honest.
albums like Q drops. I feel like at this point, like it's on some weird subreddit. Like his next album's just gonna be on 8chan. Like,
Well, he does troll a lot right
Right,
before
exactly.
every album drop. And it's getting really wild. Like his most recent bout of trolling before an album came out was running for president. Literally running for president.
I saw a Kanye for 2020 sticker and I was like, I kind of want one of those.
I
for
have
my
a
car.
Kanye for 2020 t-shirt that I wore on election day 2016.
Ooh.
That was fun until it wasn't.
It said Kanye for 2020?
Yeah, it was blue. I still have it. It's in my drawer. Suddenly it became way more real, and so I was like, I can't wear this without having a conversation I
Oh,
don't want to
yeah.
have.
Yeah, people are like, you did this.
Yeah,
You did
this is your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But like,
No,
my bad.
Were you in Oregon during the election?
No, I was in Montana during 2016.
That state wasn't going to go for.
Kanye.
No, it wasn't going to go for Kanye. No,
I mean, it was going Trump.
it did go
the
Trump.
whole way, right?
It was I believe
2016,
closer
it was
than-
pretty close. 2020, Montana took itself a hard swing back to the right. It was
Yeah.
rough.
Huh. So maybe your Kanye vote did matter.
It would have mattered this year. I could have made a difference. But I was here in Oregon where,
Okay. All right.
you know.
So I want to talk about the parking lot, Mike. I want you to. I mean, I know that's
yeah,
like
Brent,
that's like
you
a thing. So
kind of single-handedly pushed a lot of people back into comedy in this scene.
Yeah. myself included.
Me and David too.
That's-
Like the
that's-
mic that you started was the first one that we were like, I guess we're going back to stand up in person.
I remember the day you guys came out. I think one of you came first to
I
get up,
came-
and then the other one came to watch.
I came a week before just to watch.
Just to
and then
watch.
both
So
of us
Nick
showed
was
up.
Nick was the cuck.
I was no, I was a pioneer
And those-
trying to take a negative
honestly,
swing on this.
Those were the best. The most fun thing was when somebody would come out who you're like, oh, I remember seeing this person, and because I was only in the scene 4 months before the pandemic,
Hmm.
so I knew people.
When did you
Their
get to
names.
Portland?
July of 2018, and I took basically a year and a half of just not doing it.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
got really good at playing the video game Hitman.
Hitman.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I got back. Yeah, I was speed running it. And
Oh, really? Like that's like some next level.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is about the time you decide. I guess I'm going back to
Were
comedy
you live
You're like-
streaming
in order
those-
to be
No, you
productive.
can't really live stream a game like Hitman, especially when you're speed running, because you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
But
Dude, I've sat and watched an hour of somebody speed running Mario 64. I don't know why. It was just riveting to me.
it can be fascinating. But then
I mean, it's probably because they were
Brent,
taking routes
Just real
I've never
quick,
seen.
if you can tighten these things up to make the mic
Oh,
point
okay,
closer
yeah,
to
yeah.
your mouth.
Yeah.
there we go. Perfect.
Just-
Oh, done.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
there you go.
Perfect.
So you're speed running, and then
Speed
when
running
did you
Hitman.
when did you start doing?
Shaved my head, which is actually like people would go, "Were you trying to become a hitman?"
Yeah.
Because the hitman
Were you just
is-
so you're just like
You're just
I don't know this
inspired.
fucking haircut that my avatar is wearing. I really need to like.
I had a choice. I could either become Agent 48, who would be the next guy after 47, or
Okay.
I actually looked. I did mushrooms the day after I shaved my head, and I was like, started writing some bald jokes because I looked pretty funny and
okay.
different from what I looked like before.
Mhm.
And there had already been a few different reasons why I wanted to get back into comedy. I went up to see my buddy Mike DeVore in the Seattle International Comedy Contest finals, and it was up in Longview, and Adam Posse was there, and
Yeah.
I asked him questions about the scene, and he was like, "Hey, you should come watch and come check it out."
Where'd you go?
But first time back was
Yeah.
at Space Room, and
Ooh.
so that was fun. Rachel Miles came up to me and was like, "Come on, you got to donate." She was like hitting me up for money, and I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm here to do the mic." And like over time, I learned like, oh, that's just who she was. But I was like,
Yeah.
who does she think trying to get my money? You know, like. But yeah, I did jokes about looking like Moby or something like that, and
That nobody remembered. Who's Moby?
right, exactly. It was dumb, but it felt like, I don't know. The second time back felt different because it was like you make a lot of mistakes in the first scene you start in that don't.
What do you mean?
I think you focus on a lot of things that don't actually help you get better as a comedian. You're just like, oh, well, these are what the comedians are doing. I should do this, and so you're kind of
What were some of those things for you?
hanging out with funnier
Drinking too
people,
much,
you know,
smoking too much.
just going up and riffing on stage
Yeah.
instead of writing, you know, like doing crowd work and just hanging and living the life, like kind of just pretending to be a comedian versus what you have to do, which is a lot of work off stage, you know, the writing,
Yeah.
watching comedians, professionals, stuff like that, like editing. You know, I thought I had a couple good jokes and I deserved to get booked, so I wanted to go meet the bookers and showcase and show
Yeah.
people I was on flyers. And it's like, focus on the jokes and then let the rest of the stuff happen. So that was my mentality the second time around. I was like, yeah, I know I can tell these people are making decisions about who's on the list and stuff, but I'm not going to go straight up to that guy and be like, hey, can we be friends? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep showing up, keep working on new jokes, and then eventually that should endear me to some of these people.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened, and that was a gut check because it was like, oh, you're really back into this and you say you want to take it seriously? Well,
Yeah.
don't let a pandemic stop it. So that was kind of the mentality when we got back. And the big part of that was Hijinks and Courtenay at Dirty Angel, they had their mic from like mid-June,
Mhm.
every single week
Yeah.
until the second shutdown. And then when that second shutdown happened, we had been building momentum, and we'd gone every single Tuesday for like 23 weeks in a row.
This is you and Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't gone to every single one of those, but
Mhm.
Dirty Angel produced 23 straight
Oh,
weeks
yeah,
of
yeah.
comedy, and so we're like, that streak should be kept alive somehow. And so I saw Parking Lot Comedy in San Diego. I immediately bought a transmitter as soon as Kate Brown announced that we were going back into
Mhm.
lockdown. And then Lucas is a sound guy, so he was the one who kind of showed me how it could all work. 8 people came the first Tuesday, and it was pouring rain. We had a tent that was like breaking down because it wasn't tall enough, and we had it on like boxes.
Yeah.
And then 8 people kind of turned into maybe like 15 turned to 20. Every single week we swore would be the last week because we're like, the cops are definitely going to come now because it's gotten too big.
Mhm.
And then they never came.
Yeah, and that started in what, November that you started
the
doing
last
that?
week of November.
Okay. Because we started showing up in January, me and David.
Right. And that was still before the news came.
Yeah, that was before the guy, the like security guy came and talked to us
Right.
that time.
And that was the 9th week. So the security guy came, and he had already talked to us one time because we tried a show on Saturdays, and we didn't advertise it, but
Mhm.
that was the first time he was like, "Oh, I go check out that building. I didn't realize that the owners also have this lot. What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "It's a comedy show. Tune in if you want to listen to it." And then he's like, "I'm gonna have to put this in my report." And I went over and I tried to give him $20. So I was like, "Could you maybe not put this in your report?"
Bribed him.
And he's like, I have to. And I guess it makes sense. It's $20 for
Yeah.
his job. But he came back like 3 weeks later when we were doing just a regular mic on a Tuesday. And he's like, the owners said they don't want to say no, but they want more information about what's going on.
Mhm.
And that was when I gave him my card. And even then I was like, they're probably going to ask all these questions and we're not going to have the right answers.
Yeah.
Which they kind of did. They're like, it's kind of a liability for you to be there without, insurance or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that. And so I was like, can we just do one more week? Because it's been important to the scene. And he was like,
Yeah.
sure, you can do one more. And that was the week that we called the news.
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, it doesn't matter. We knew the news would be interested, but we thought that would blow it all up.
Like it would ruin it. Yeah.
But once it was like, well, now we can blow it all up anyways.
Yeah.
The news came, covered the story. And then after that, the owners were like, well, I guess you being there is better than just people coming by and vandalizing or doing something. So, yeah, you can keep using it. Just don't sue us, is what they say.
That's so funny.
Like as if any of these
That should
comics
hold
could
up.
afford a lawyer.
Right. So
You'd be surprised.
20-something weeks later, I don't know, it was 5 months. It was a 5-month run.
Yeah.
And there was over 100 comics that came through, and a lot of them were coming through for their first time back, like wanting to do it safe. So
Yeah, it was cool.
it was awesome. If I do comedy for 20 more years, some of these years will run together, but the one that we did, parking lot comedy and stuff like that,
Yeah.
will always stand out as something that's like, oh, that was special.
Mhm.
I went twice, but also your other show in Beaverton, I'm never gonna forget that parking lot or that patio show, because I broke a box the first time that I showed up.
Before the mic even started.
My fat ass just the mic had literally just started. It was the first comic, and I was like, I want to sit down on this really stable
Yeah, and
box.
it was high enough you had to like hoist yourself up,
jumped
right?
up.
You did
And it was
little
like
jump.
Bjorn's first week, first time back.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah, it's a little.
I want to probably ease into this with my comedy. I want to, I
Yeah.
don't want people to start. Oh, Bjorn's back. Look,
Oh,
he fell on his ass. Oh, that
was
guy's
funny.
back.
Oh.
Fucking klutz.
like, I'm sorry, whoever's on stage.
He's always pulling physical comedy, that guy.
He's back here doing physical comedy. Just
This is one of his many gags.
He's a multi-talented man, Bjorn is.
I mean, I had
Sure.
just watched that Chris Farley documentary. So, you know what? I was inspired
Yeah.
to break some tables.
Beaverton is a shit show of a mic, and it's fun in that way because it's like we tried to do it as a show.
Yeah.
It did not work. It works way better when people are just like, their bar is lower on both sides,
Yeah.
the audience
Mhm.
and the comedians.
Yeah, I remember you guys did it as a show, and it would be like, you know, the hour and a half was the show, and then there's a mic after it, and the people that would stay were like, when is this gonna end?
Yeah,
You
and
know.
you never want that. With,
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
But it's fun as a mic. I went and did it. I didn't do it this past week, but I did the week before. You put me up early.
Right.
It was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, people can come and go now, and if you're, it's like, well, you don't have to stay. We're gonna be doing this till later than you could imagine.
And it's a cool building because it is indoors, but it's so big
Yeah.
that it feels pretty safe. You know, COVID wise, it's like it's
Sure.
a giant amount of space.
Sure.
And there's never like their capacity limit. Even if they were at their capacity, it still wouldn't be that crowded.
Right. 325 is their capacity. So like the whole percentages thing is nice for them because like
Mhm.
50% is gonna be up to whatever the maximum is. I think in the high risk, 50% is 100 max. So they'll always be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But all that stuff might change pretty soon. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it was with people
She
getting
said-
vaxxed and stuff.
Yeah, and if 70% of the county is vaxxed, then she'll drop the restrictions in that county.
Mhm.
So, like some of the counties in Southern Oregon are like 30% vaccinated. Like they'll never hit 70, so they'll have
Mhm.
to get there when the state hits 70%.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
Multnomah is at like 62% vaccinated, so we're one of the higher states.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We've been tracking all that shit
Yeah.
more than because it's the third shutdown was the one that was the hardest for me because it was when we closed. We stopped doing the lot
Yeah.
because it didn't seem like people needed it.
Yeah,
Things were
because all the
coming back.
a lot of indoor stuff and just other shows were popping up.
Yeah, and then the last night coincided with the announcement that we were going back into lockdown. So everyone's like, "What the fuck, Brent?"
come
and we're
on.
like,
Oh, that was a fun one. I just got the truck. We were all sitting in the bed of the truck. It was like
And that was a good way to go out.
that was a fun night.
It was a short, like it was a 1 week shutdown. So as soon as that lifted, and you're like, oh, okay, we'll be back indoors.
Yeah.
We don't need the parking lot. Like 5 months, good call. It was over, and we're gonna do park shows pretty soon. So
Yeah. No, we didn't. At least I didn't blame you for shutting that thing down. It was definitely I might have given you a bad time while I was there because I thought it was funny for the sake of comedy, but
sure.
like I definitely don't blame you for doing that. It seems like a ton of work because it was a lot of time.
It was
You know?
a lot of Lucas did a lot of the heavy lifting once once we decided to keep going after the news story because I returned the generator
Mm-hmm.
and then he got it again, and he got a van and he dropped out of college. So that wasn't all in the name of Laughs PDX. He also started a used bookstore, so he's making multiple bad decisions at the same time.
No, let's shout out his bookstore though.
It is Birdhouse Bookstore in Vancouver, and
Yeah.
he and his girlfriend are going to be opening in like 2 or 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if all our listeners need
Maybe he'll let us do a comedy show
some
there.
books,
yeah, it's really
hit up
small.
Birdhouse Books in Vancouver, Washington.
Very
I was
cool.
talking to him the other day at a mic. I was like, dude, you got to get like a beer cooler, beer and wine license. It's different than a liquor license. I think it's easier to
Ooh.
get.
and it's a little classier.
Yeah. Get the wine in cans.
Yeah. He
You
could
know?
have a nice like speakeasy type
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be sick.
It would
Do
be.
readings. What's the weirdest? Maybe let's pretend the lot isn't the weirdest one. What's the weirdest like show or mic you've ever done?
I mean, it would be like Bram's show Bram's mic that he did in between like a shipping container
Yeah.
and a warehouse in this tiny, maybe as wide as this room is
Uh-huh.
long.
Oh, wow.
And then only maybe the half court of a basketball court, but we're
Okay.
all just in this tiny gravelly area. For his birthday, there was like 25 people that
Oh my
showed up.
God.
Oh, wow.
With like I made brownies. Nobody wanted them because of COVID. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I brought one knife. We just, I ended up with a lot of brownies. But yeah, people were getting drunk. That is definitely the sketchiest.
Weirdest.
Like,
Okay, what's the weirdest like mic or show non-COVID? Like weirdest like regular times mic or show that you've done? Not to discount Bram's insane between the buildings.
Non-COVID. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, if you need me to go, I can go.
yeah, go.
Who was it? I did the laundry show, the laundromat show, which was just like, don't fucking do material. You're just yelling at people that are trying to fold their laundry on like a Thursday night, and they just do not. They just want to play board games. They don't want to listen to whatever you have to say. I had a great time. I just yelled. I had just watched the movie Aquaman, and I had a lot of opinions about it. So I just basically did a opinion podcast review of the movie Aquaman to a bunch of people trying to fold their laundry and ignore me and like wish they had brought their headphones. Probably.
That was in Portland.
Yeah. It's like a cool laundry place. What is it called? Spin.
Because they have board games.
They have board games and beer and liquor.
I think for me it was
Clancy ran it. Sorry.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
keep
Clancy
going.
did run
Clancy
that one.
Kramer.
Nice.
I did a show like a couple months before COVID at Deadstock Coffee,
Okay.
Have you
and
been
it was
there?
like
I was there the other day. It
Okay.
is tiny.
it's in Old Town. It's super cool. It's
Okay.
like it's run by this awesome dude who's like a big sneakerhead, and so it's like a sneaker themed coffee shop.
They should be your sponsor.
They should be our sponsor.
Absolutely. I was there.
Shout out to them. They are awesome.
Sure, sponsorship or not.
But I did somebody ran a comedy show there, and it was fun. And I love the dude that ran it, Pedro Andrade. He's a super
Yeah.
cool guy.
It's so funny.
It's not the world's greatest room for comedy because it's like a tiny hallway that then makes a turn to the counter and then a small entranceway. Like there's really not even seating in.
It doesn't
Sounds
make
The
like
only
sounds like a
seating-
Tetris piece.
Like
Yeah.
it is shaped like a Tetris piece, and we were in the corner of the hallway. So I was looking at like there was seating for about 2 people, and I was looking down the hallway past all the comedians in a line to like my 2 people in the audience, and there were like 3 or 4 more in the entranceway, and we had like a small speaker.
That was your weirdest mic.
Yeah, it was a showcase. I had to do 10 minutes.
Did you get paid?
I did get paid.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to Pedro.
There you go.
But yeah, I definitely did as good as I could do, but it was not great. I also had to keep it semi-clean.
Okay.
Had to eliminate some fucks.
So I thought of what mine is, and
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's not COVID because it happened last month in Austin, Texas, where
Okay.
COVID has since ended.
Never existed.
Yeah,
either
no,
either
COVID
never
never
existed or does not apply. So
Yeah.
this would just be happening regardless.
Mhm.
It was called the heckle mic.
Ooh.
And I've never seen an audience more engaged than when they know they can be a part of the show and are encouraged to.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's mostly comics, but a few people that stayed. It was like after a show, I think the mic started at like 11. So it went from like 11 till last call.
Okay.
And comics would go up for like 5 minutes each. And if they tried material, somebody would shout out like, "You fucking suck." Like, "Kill yourself," or "You look like you," whatever, some good look like roast. They'd roast them, and then the person would have to stop doing their material. Like, so if you couldn't fight back against the people who were shouting out shit at you, you would get eaten up. I mean, there were people who got like chewed up and spit out, and they left, and you're like, oof,
Oh, baby.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somebody did yell, they're like, "Kill yourself," and this guy's like, "I already tried that 3 times last year."
Oh,
You're like,
rough.
"Ooh, we gotta keep an eye on that guy."
Yeah.
But
oh, boy.
really, really unique, and like it would never work in Portland. People have too many feelings. They're like, "Did you hear
Oh, yeah. That
what
wouldn't work in
Brent said
fall.
to me? He said I was fat on stage." You're like, "Well, but it was at the heckle mic." You're like, "Yeah, but you can't body shame me."
I did a heckle. I've done a heckle mic before. But it was at the U of M in Minnesota in a lecture hall, fully lit, just fully lit lecture
Ooh.
hall. And the guy who ran it is this guy who's he's bonkers. He's so funny, but he'd be like almost like the Andy Kaufman of the scene in Minnesota.
Okay.
I'm totally drawing a blank on his name right now. But like he would wear weird clothes or like do all these weird things. Like he would go do street comedy. Like I did a show I had this idea, and then we went and just did it for fun. We went on the Max train, and we just brought a speaker, and we both did sets to comedy during rush hour. Well, there's like a shit ton of people.
Hell yeah! Did anybody laugh?
Oh yeah, people, and then people were just like, I don't know, like telling us to stop.
Yeah.
like really aggressively telling us to stop.
Sure, you would get mixed reactions, but then the ones that were not so favorable would be enough to be like, all right, that guy's going to stab me.
Oh, this is sketchy.
That guy's laughing, but he's going to stab me.
But yeah, it was a heckle mic, and I remember it was really fun. I liked it. But the whole audience was just barked in college students that he like aggressively, where they were like trying to be nice, and then so nobody was like there for the heckle mic. They were sort of like,
Nobody like got up that morning like, man, I'm gonna yell some shit.
They were all
some
just like
sad people.
So it was pretty nice most of the time, and
Right.
like I don't know, it wasn't bad.
So the heckle mic that you did, what did you hear? What were the heckles?
I heard a lot of words I can't say
thrown
in
at you.
Portland. A lot of words that I cannot say in Portland.
Okay.
A lot of F words.
Yeah, the ones that my roommates and you do not appreciate. Not the fuck ones.
Not the
You
fun
were saying
ones.
that in Austin right now, that word's in the zeitgeist.
It is, and I think now, honestly, based on what just happened with Tony Hinchcliffe, who was like sort of a god to a lot of these people, or at least a way for them to get seen because his podcast was every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting canceled for saying, "I'm a quarter Chinese," so it's the C word. See, it's chink. That's what he said. Graham wouldn't. She would say I'm allowed to quote some Graham. She's my full Chinese grandma. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Austin comics, having seen the backlash for that, are now like having to edit their jokes. Like, ooh, I guess I can't say faggot anymore. You know, like or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you were. That's the thing, is you were saying that Austin had taken a big like edgelord turn, and then the Tony Hinchcliffe thing happened this week, and I was reading on Reddit stand up, and I was seeing like Austin's full of edgelord douchebags, and I was like, oh, that's what the fuck Brent told us when he got back.
Yeah,
I was like,
it didn't
oh,
take.
He
wasn't lying.
At the like my fourth or fifth day, I was like, if I stay here one more day, I'm gonna write a rape joke. So. Like,
It's got to fit in.
yeah, I mean, it's
Try to get
weird,
some
and it's
laughs.
not a very friendly place for women. I would imagine, because I didn't
Yeah.
see many. I'm like, they probably came, they just didn't enjoy it. Yeah, and so it's like them trying. If their experiment is them trying to see if we can create a place where cancel culture doesn't exist, the Tony Hinchcliffe thing was the first test, and it failed. As far as I can see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cancel culture does exist, or at least consequence culture. And so you can be reading The Room of Austin and completely misreading the room that is our country in 2021. And just because somebody can take a video and take that context and reapply it, you should probably be reading the larger room. Like,
Yeah.
even me quoting those things on a podcast, you're like, uh-oh, that could be sliced or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we're in a weird state, and I think Portland is at least a safe place to be if you're just trying to hide out and not fuck up too much and kind of learn some of these lessons and be like, well, where is comedy going? Because it's going to have some scapegoats in the meantime that cross a line
Yeah.
that arguably they shouldn't have crossed, but, you know, we're
That's one of the
establishing
things
that.
I like about being in Portland, where it is harder to do some of that stuff. Like, I have a joke where I say faggot in it. I used to tell it, and it would get people would get upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a funny joke. So, but then I go to like Vancouver, and that shit just murders. Like, and what it was is people would just react to the word from me, and it was just like I'm saying it in a character, and as it being said to me and being thrown to me, it's not even. But then people would just react to the word and sort of seize up. But my
Sure.
point being, I appreciate that, because then I can have a better understanding. And maybe I'll just write a stronger joke or a better joke that, you know, is so that that's, I think, the better side of it. Also, like you said, I with my shows and mics, a big thing was always to like, I wanted to create a space that women felt safe, and that was a very important thing for me personally.
Yeah.
Because I've been to some mics personally where I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go up. Like, maybe I'll just talk about my dog this time because I don't want to come out to this group.
Yeah.
You know, like this is I don't feel safe. I gotta feel
some
safe.
open mics feel like the living room of a frat house.
Yeah, or and you sort of forget about some of that. And like for me, I just I want to feel safe, so I try to create a space that's safe. And for my comedy, I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you said back in Vegas, you said it was a lot of
Oh my God.
a lot of what he was talking about
Absolutely.
in Austin.
And then I did notice a change in my material. Like when I first moved to Portland, I actually had a hard time getting laughs, and like I thought I couldn't riff. I thought I forgot how to write jokes, which was good because it was sort of just like I had to take a few steps back and write stronger, tighter jokes, tighter material. Whereas like in Vegas, I mean, I make the joke. It wasn't necessarily true, but like I just be like, so I'm gay, and then they laugh for 10 minutes and then carry me off on their shoulders. Like that would be like, because it was like a joke in Vegas that I look like this and I'm gay. That's a joke to people in Vegas or in
in
Middle
Portland,
America.
in Portland, they're like,
In
we're
Portland,
all
they're
gay.
like, yes, and what? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all a little gay.
Yeah.
Who cares? You know, like who hasn't touched a dick? Like,
Yeah. It's
and it was for me, it was eye opening, and I got better because of it.
because you could understand that both places existed, right? Like you.
I think I just had to dig a little deeper and write better jokes, really, and be more clever and be more aware of that. And I think that now when I go to those other places, I like murder. Like I used to go to this mic up in Vancouver, and just like straight dudes would buy me drinks after. Like I've never had that. Maybe they're straight. I don't know.
Straight dudes.
Straight guys
would buy you drinks. Yeah.
would buy me drinks. It's like, who gets drinks bought for them? I'm over 200 pounds. What is happening? Like, I am not a hot guy. I've never had abs. Like,
But gay guys don't buy you drinks.
sometimes
But straight guys was a new thing.
straight guys buy me drinks. Not after shows. I've never gotten people buying me drinks. That's a weird thing. Vancouver,
I feel like that's.
God bless him.
like, yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like like Dylan Carlino. We were at his birthday the other night.
Yeah, we were
Happy
there.
birthday. But he's a big fan of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
He's,
He's our number one fan.
no, he was telling me that he gets hit on by straight guys or guys with girlfriends or wives a lot,
Huh.
and it's like a low key hitting on where like maybe they don't even know they're hitting on him, but
Yeah.
they're doing like probably what they did with you, where they bought you a drink, or they're
Yep.
like, hey, what are you doing after this, and you want to hang out, like. And it's because I'm thinking it's because he has jokes where he sort of like calls out straight people.
Yeah.
And I think these guys want to be like, hey, I'm totally not one of those bisexual
Oh,
guys that you were
like-
talking about. Like, hey, man, like,
I'm
because
so
they kind of
not
are.
gay that I'll hang out with a gay dude and
Right.
not fucking.
Right.
Like,
But in the subtext of all that, there's this like, I feel like maybe if you just admitted you'd be a little gay, you could just tell me nice set instead of like
just say nice
having
set.
this weird thing with
We don't
me
have
where
to
you like
awkwardly hang out
where
for
you like
2
use
hours.
me as your gay like projection thing,
A fist bump is good enough, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will suffice.
But sometimes that just takes admitting like, yeah, we've all touched a penis or thought about it. But there's people who's like, I have never touched a penis, but I think it's cool you're gay, man. If you want to come back to my house, like
You want to come back to my house?
you can get in my spa.
I would go.
Yeah, I do think, just back to our discussion about Portland, I do think it makes us stronger writers. Also, I think there's kind of, just from a marketability standpoint, the edgelord shit kind of isn't as marketable as just having, like, you can have some profanities and stuff, but if you're not like the super dark edgy shit, really only appeals to like broy dudes.
Sure.
And as a broy dude,
that buy
I'm
you
there for
drinks
some of
after
it,
the show.
but like,
They're like, oh, you remind me of me in college.
I feel like as comics, this is a good scene to come up in, Just
as
'cause
long as
you
you're
get a lot of
aware,
practice.
as long as you're aware that all those other that edge wars exist
Mhm.
and that they're okay, that they're another part of comedy. That's
Yeah.
like, because I think if you spend too much time in a place like Portland, you see something like what I saw maybe at the Heckle Mic, and you're like, this is not okay. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get up here. Whereas you should still be able to roll with some of those punches and be like, hey,
Yeah, you got to do sort of like a hybrid thing. You can't just
Yeah.
do one or the other.
because if you can approach some of the topics that those guys are approaching that are like, ooh, that's kind of, I can't believe he did that, but approach them with the writing tact of a Portland writer. We are supposed to be approaching taboos and like
Absolutely.
building tension and breaking it, but we're supposed to be doing it in an artful way. So it's
Yeah.
like combining those two.
I think that's part of what I'm trying to say here. I guess I didn't say it right.
No,
But yeah, I think like when you're trying to do tough topics in Portland, like it makes you have to think about it a lot more,
sure,
you know.
which you should
And
do
dance
anytime.
around
You,
it. Yeah.
But yeah, you should be
Which
doing that
then
anyway. So.
That makes you way more marketable as a comic. Like you're going to build the skills necessary to actually be, cuz like if you're going to get a special at some point, you can't just go up there just like flinging slurs, you know.
right.
But you could touch those topics if you know how to write. Like that's what makes professional comics professionals, is they got good.
I think that the difference between that is going up to try to get a reaction or trying to get a laugh. Because like so those people know some people will laugh at their hard ass shit.
Yeah.
But they also know some people are going to be very offended, and that's all part of why they do that. It's like,
Mhm.
they're more invested in the reaction than I think the laughter. But
Yeah.
All right. We're going a little long. This has been really fun.
this was great.
I got one last thing, and then Nick will take us out completely. So let's say we're still doing the lot mic, and someone comes to some really woke person comes to the lot mic, and they're pissed. They're so pissed about something that you said that they take the shoes off your feet, and you happen to be wearing these 6 rings.
Mhm.
They take them off your feet. They're just like, that joke was so offensive. I'm taking these sneakers. They take them from you, and then you make an insurance policy, obviously, and they give you the full retail on them. Are you replacing them, or are you getting a different pair?
Depending on my financial situation, I might keep the money.
I love it. All right, Nick. You wanna take us out?
All right. Well, let's open the floor up to Brent. Go
Yeah.
ahead and plug anything you want to plug.
I was thinking that the Mondays, the open mic at the garages would be fun. Just any Monday from 7:30 to 10:30, we're out there.
Okay.
LaughsPDX.com has just been given the green light from the guy who was running PDX stand up that'll be the new like place for open mic and show info. So we will have to kind of revamp what we're doing show wise. The open mic page will probably stay the same, but we want to showcase everything for the scene, and now we get a little, I don't know, that was a cool endorsement. So
That's awesome.
I want to start doing like Twitter Tuesdays where I follow a bunch of Portland comics, and like every week you have like your 10 favorite tweets from Portland comics that go on the Instagram post and do stuff that's more content based, because right now it's just like promotion.
Yeah, just
It'd
promoting.
be cool to have like some clips, some tweets, some things that like actually make people laugh. So
Yeah.
well, we got a lot of time. It's gonna be a fun summer. Things are coming back, so
All right.
that's the plug.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys follow LaughsPDX on Instagram. Check them out at laughspdx.com. Follow us on Instagram at Size10 Podcast. Subscribe wherever you're listening. Hit a like on YouTube if you want. Helps with the algorithm. We got new episodes every single Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.